With fans ejected from a WWE live event and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Touching on the times he faced Stone Cold during his run in WWE, Ken Shamrock told Wrestling Shoot interviews, "I thought Steve Austin felt real comfortable with me. I felt like he was already in a position at that point where his role was, he was the guy, period. And me going in there, Raw main event match against Austin in 1998, obviously he had a tremendous amount of respect for me. And I think in his own mind, it was like, it was an honor for him to wrestle me in this stage because of who I was. It was a feather in his cap per se. So when we went in there and did that, we had a tremendous amount of respect for each other, and I had a tremendous amount of respect for him on what he was able to do in pro wrestling. So for me to be in there with him, I was like, okay, this is awesome, this is great. But I think in reverse, it was the same with him being in there with me, being the original world's most dangerous man and legitimate world's most dangerous man, being able to work with me." On Table for 3 with Booker T and Rey Mysterio, JBL revealed what he told Vince McMahon about John Cena back in the day. You know, Cena from day one, it's a different match going from 8 minutes to 30 minutes. 30 minutes is tough. You gotta take your own role, and some people can't ever make that transition. I think he may have done longer matches with Kurt Angle first, who's one of the greatest of all time. But if not, then I was the second guy to take Cena for 30 minutes. He was comfortable from day one. I remember Vince asking me, he goes, "How is he?" I said, "That kid is freaking awesome. I mean, he's that good." And he was from the get-go. He got into deep water and a lot of people just drowned. Recalling his match against Cody Rhodes, Anthony Ogogo revealed to Cultaholic that AEW cut down the time for that bout, saying, "I don't want to get into trouble, so I'm not going to talk too much. Sometimes silence speaks 1,000 words. I asked for the anthem. They said no for certain things, certain reasons. I asked for people dressed up like beefeaters. I didn't get it. I asked for a few things to really ramp up. We actually lost. The match was good. It could have been really good. We lost 6 minutes of our match because time constraints. I think there was a battle royale before that went heavy. We filmed a really cool Rocky montage, a 5-minute cool Rocky montage. The promo packages before the match, think of Austin and The Rock. By the time the bell goes, you're frothing at the mouth. We filmed something really cool for that, but we had to cut that because of time. We had to cut 40% of our match time, which was the moments between the moves. Our match could have been better had we didn't have to cut our time because we had these special moments planned and they had to go. That was really frustrating. It was my first foray on the big stage. I didn't get my Bulldogs. I didn't get my Beefeaters. The match wasn't quite what it could have been because of time constraints, which I understood. After that, we had a big meeting. People have to stick to their times. It's not fair people having their matches cut because of other people's unprofessionalism. It was a great way to make my way. I had a lot of fun. I would have liked certain things to change, like certain outcomes to be a little different. I believe I can be a player in pro wrestling moving forward. I feel like I will be a big deal." Giving an update on her recovery, AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa told the Wrestling Perspective podcast, "I'm doing really well. This week, we made some good progress. I started running for the first time in almost 3 months, so the physical activity is getting a little bit bigger, and I'm allowed to do a lot more stuff than before. I'm not allowed to lift yet. I'm not allowed to do a lot of stuff. I'm not allowed to wrestle, but we're making progress, and the fact that I can actually jog for 7 minutes on and off, for me, it's huge, because I have not been able to do that. I've spoken to other patients that have had similar injuries that I have at the place that I go to. For a lot of us, everybody's different. It's hit and miss when you're talking about lower back injuries, always. You have to be very careful because you can injure it again. You utilize your back for everything. So I'm really hopeful that things will continue to progress the way they are. We're taking our time, and we're taking all the measures that I need to take to stay safe. Like I said, I'm really thankful that I'm allowed to go and do signings still, but I have to again be very careful because my back gets irritated really easily. I don't want to get a huge setback step back that is going to take me from doing the basic stuff, cleaning my house, taking care of like walking my dogs and all that stuff. Because you can really re-injure yourself, but I still don't have like a set time yet. But again, I'm working really hard to get better physically and mentally, because mentally injuries can take a toll. I'm really happy that I can do that. I shared that with my family yesterday and they're all excited. The fact that I can do more physical activity to me is huge, because when that is taken away from you and you are forced to be sitting at home or to be chilling, just cooking like a maniac, it's hard on any athlete. But I'm really excited that I know when I come back, I'm going to come back a lot stronger in many aspects than when I left before. Talking about what went wrong with NWA owner Billy Corgan, Nick Aldis said this about his departure from the promotion, telling Sam Roberts, "I was planning to let my fans know that I had given my notice, but not in a nefarious way and certainly not in a negative way. I was just going to let people know, hey, I've decided to move on. I've given my notice so that my final shows with the NWA people would know that this is it. I thought, hey, this is a good opportunity to give something exclusive to my subscribers, and then a couple days from now, I'll then let everyone else know. Then those people will go, hey, this was worth it, hopefully. The whole thing about paywall content, it's got to be stuff that people feel is worthy the money. It's got to be stuff that people feel is worth the money. It was my first time. I thought I had done everything right. I clicked the little button that said subscribers only, but I guess maybe because it's real, I don't know. I still don't know. This is exactly how it happened. I was on the terrace in the condo. I decided, screw it, let's do it. Just very candid. That's how I built my fan base, is authenticity. Then when that was done, we had dinner reservations and I was like, oh, I got enough time to go get a little 30-minute cardio in at the fitness center. I go do 30 minutes of cardio, and by the time I come back, I see people going like, man, that was really great what you said. I'm going, wait a minute, I don't think he's a subscriber. That's my friend. I don't think my friends are paying to see my content. I went, oh, damn it, I deleted it. I probably shouldn't have even bothered. I should have just left it, but whatever. But look, I gave my notice. I said I gave my notice, and I sort of alluded to why. It certainly wasn't intended to be this sort of burial of the NWA or anything like that. Why would I do that? That would bury myself. The thing that I've been most heavily associated with for the last 5 years, and then I would turn around and go, no, it sucks. No. Then he agreed not only to be back associated with, he asked me to come to Missouri to defend the title, agreed to appear on camera, talking to me about being NWA champion, and that ended up being the last interview he ever gave on camera before he passed away. That means a lot to me. It was because of how we had presented pro wrestling consistently for 3 years at that point, or whatever it was. We consistently presented pro wrestling in a serious and dignified way. I know people will hear dignified and pro wrestling in the same sentence and say it's an oxymoron. You know what I'm saying. I just found myself again. This isn't me trying to do scorched earth. I'm just saying this is what factored in my decision to give my notice. I started looking at stuff like Gags, the Gimp, a social distancing match where the two wrestlers can't touch each other. On and on it went with different wacky, silly, comedic nonsense. And I said, how would I have justified this to Harley Race if Harley Race had been here today? Imagine if I'd been stood there with Harley Race, and what would Harley Race say watching this? Or Dory Funk, or Ric Flair? I thought if I was stood here with those guys right now, I'd be kind of embarrassed, because they would look at me and go, this is you? This is your company? I have to go. No, I didn't want to be in a position where I'm like, oh, that's not me, because if I'm in, I'm in. When we first talked, I was doing the 10 pounds of gold series. I got paid $0 for those. I know that Corrigan spent a lot of time talking about, I gave him this money. Well, we exchanged money for services. I gave you pro wrestling services in exchange for money. You didn't give me money. Also, for the first year that we were doing business together, my money came from third-party independent promoters. It didn't come from you at all. So I made all that content. I wasn't getting paid for that. I was benefiting from it. I'm not upset about it, but I just think it provides a bit of context. I was very invested in building this thing. With it reported previously that Roode is expected to make his return to WWE soon, Fightful reported that he was backstage at the most recent Smackdown, as it remains to be seen when he appears on the brand. As Braun, Strowman apparently got heat on him backstage in WWE over his negative comments about high-flying wrestlers, Dutch Mantel had a warning for the monster among men. Well, you're gonna get a lot of fans not liking him, and WWE don't like that because they want them to buy merchandise. You don't buy things off of guys that you don't like. I was reading part of it. He was talking about guys bagging groceries, and I had a laugh. On Renee Dupree's podcast, former WWE star Robbie McAllister spoke about a time he partied with the Nature Boy Ric Flair, as he said. That was a lot of fun because after we got to hang out with Flair for a couple of nights, it was funny to see how he could really treat people like I can imagine a guy of his stature, people coming up to him. No matter where you are, you're Ric Flair, everybody's coming up to you all the time, and you gotta have your private time every once in a while. Talk about a recent promo on AEW Dynamite letting fans know that she is medically cleared. Bully Ray had this to say about it on Busted Open Radio. All of that other stuff that comes out of her mouth, what did it accomplish? I did this, I did that, I battled this, I got hit by a car, my family this, I've been doing this 30 years. Okay, every wrestler has their story, but for a babyface to go in there and go me, that's why it reminded me of Taz. Because Taz was like, I had to go through this. I was too short. I had to deal with this. Blah, blah, blah. What about me? What about Taz? That's what I felt from Saraya last night. At a WWE live event, Scarlett Bordeaux had a drink thrown on her by a fan, which led to that woman apparently being thrown out of the show as her family was later escorted out. According to those in attendance, the family seemed embarrassed for the woman's actions, as those working for the company had to clean up the ringside area.